But now Alliance, they're thinking a bit more about their first two picks now. So instead of the Jug Batrider opening, we're going to see Timber Sword Jakiro. Okay.
Dire team pick.
I'm not sure what changes these heroes had. I'd try and inquire.
Jakiro had a little bit of lovin', I believe, in this 7.0 patch, as I slowly talk about it here.
Liquid Fire got buffed from all points. The attack slow was increased from 20 to 30, 30 to 40, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And it was no longer a unique attack modifier. So if you want, you can build Liquid Fire and buy... Wait, they changed unique attack modifiers, didn't they? Some of them got changed again. But you can buy all kinds of things and have Liquid Fire still work. And Macro Prior got slightly buffed.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of all the fuzzy Warcraft 3 / Dota 1 mechanics that kind of really... Not all of it had a real rhyme or reason. We saw a lot of changes to Cleave, to Root, and obviously to the unique attack modifiers. You also see a bit of it in what is considered a true purge and not a true purge, if you will. And I mean, I don't know, what does this really mean for someone like Jakiro, though? I mean, yeah, it opens up some new item possibilities, but are we going to be seeing core Jakiros now? We saw occasionally the fun, like, mid-lane Jakiro here and there, but I mean, does it really open up a whole new set of options for core Jakiro, or is it for something else that I might be missing?
5 seconds
I think it's... Or Jakiro is stronger, or Jakiro is stronger in general. Like, you used to see offlane Jakiro, but I think some teams, I think it was like Wings would play Jakiro quite a bit, or at least Y and the other support player, I can't remember his name, used to spam it in pubs quite a lot, even before it got buffed. So I think it's one of those heroes that does really well when it's given quite a lot of farm. And I think in 7.0, like, you just kind of have lots of heroes get quite a lot of farm a lot of the time if you're doing quite well. And I think if Jakiro's lanes do quite well, then he kind of gets banner runes. He farms jungle quite quickly, pushes lanes out fairly well. And he's one of those heroes that, like, he doesn't ever really stop being good. Starts off, like, quite lackluster, like, with no points in Ice Buff. Once he gets to, like, level 10, 11, like, he becomes very, very effective very quickly. And he doesn't really fall off at all. So I think supports like that, like Visage falls under like the same kind of category, you know. These heroes that they start off relatively weak, but then once they hit mid-game, they kind of like scale very, very well later on.
We'll see how he's going to be able to scale through this one here. Maybe Alliance have something up their sleeve with this. It's hard to gauge how many of these teams have had scrim practice, if you will. I mean, I don't know, Rhyme, how in tune you are with the buzz of all these players, but once this patch dropped, do you think it was like all the teams were like, it's time to scrim here and now, or are they kind of just like pubbing their way through the patch? Like, how does a team going about just like learning when you have this big of a change? I mean, it's one of the biggest changes in the game's history. So do you just take your team together and go on a scrimming rampage, or do you let every player just kind of pub it out?
I think everyone just pubs it out, honestly. It's the quickest way to learn the game. You just play game after game after game. It's like harder to organize scrims. Like, you actually spend much less time playing if you look at scrims. I think when a patch hits like this, you just need to get a feel for everything. Getting that feeling is a very, very important part, because if you don't have it, then you can scrim whatever you like, but then you're just not going to really know exactly when to react to certain things.
Plus, you have 5 like high-level players who are going out and playing 5 high-level pubs, let's say, and they each have opportunities to kind of bring in some new ideas that they might be picking up from those pubs. Oh, this is something, Rhyme, you wanted from the previous series, Spirit Breaker. Now, here he is for Alliance. I already wagered this is probably going to be the EGM pickup, but whether it be that or the handskin grab, I would assume that even in 7.0 Rhyme, is his position, is his role in the early game still the same?
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, he's much the same, and he probably will remain the same for a very long time. He's Spirit Breaker. He breaks people's spirits, he makes people very sad, he catches people out, and he bashes people to smithereens. So. Yeah, I think he kind of works in Jakiro, honestly. Just have Jakiro, like Spirit Breaker running around pressuring lanes, Jakiro just being like the dutiful lane support, sometimes rotating around. Jakiro can be your counter initiator, Spirit Breaker can be your everything initiator. Kind of works. Elements going with the Ogre Nyx, which was then followed up by a Wisp in their previous series, but Wisp is not available because they banned it versus Alliance, which is quite reasonable. Oh. So also in that game, they went for like the 2 tank. They had like the CK and the Tiny in that game. but
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think this is the kind of game for it, because Timbersaw is already appearing in the first phase. So,
Yeah, I don't
gonna
know.
be.
Maybe some silence. I mean, I don't know. Disruptor? Do you throw in a casual disruptor? Help shut down someone like the Timbersaw with a little bit of the crowd control from the Static Storm? Maybe Kinetic Field or Glimpse could help keep a Spirit Breaker off your back. If not them, I could see like a Rubik be a possible, maybe a possible
Rubik,
option.
Rubik, I could see working, but Witch Doctor, I think they just want like sports that you can just keep
Alliances
fighting with. You
turn
want
to
low
pick.
cooldown stuff that can just constantly scale. So you got your Nyx and your Witch Doctor. So Nyx is probably going to have a little help with the Ogre and laning stage. Maybe not. Ogre's probably going to run at mid, but I think it's just going to
10
be
seconds
Witch Doctor's
remaining.
going to stay with his like kind of farming carry. Whatever they choose
5
to pick up for
seconds
Swift Ending,
remaining.
and then they're going to basically be the Guardian squad to save him from Spirit Breaker, and then when Nyx hits 6, they're
Reserve
just going to
time.
roam around and try and get back control that way. So Alliance just really need to pressure lanes with Spirit Breaker and then make sure that Jakiro doesn't become very, very poor, which could happen against Nyx, and if they lose map control. So, UI does betray, but Alliance are currently picking, so
Yeah.
I think Timbersaw could like go quite a few lanes, but I think he's probably. I have no idea against like Ogre, Witch Doctor. Those aren't necessarily the strongest lane supports for stopping a Timber getting stuff, and they could very, very easily go aggro with Jakiro and then pick up some strong laning hero, which they did previously with the Weaver and the Enchantress.
Can you get
And
something to
then have
match
the
up against the
Timbersaw as a safe
Timbersaw? Maybe better in a 1v1? Is Sand King okay? Or, you know, like Axe or any of these kind of like big mid lane bullies? Maybe not Axe, but something that could just shut down the Timbersaw without the need of a reliable support to be able to do it?
Well, I think currently like Elements have got the right idea. They've got Ogre, Witch Doctor, which are like very, very good in try versus try. Ogre not so much, but he's still very tanky, so we can just fight people. Witch Doctor, the cask is very useful. I think they're preparing themselves for the situation where Alliance decide to go aggro and then leave the Timbersaw in the 1v1 versus the Nyx. And so I don't see them going aggro with that. But in terms of picking up a hero specifically for Timbersaw, maybe like OD or something would be okay here. I think it's not too far out there in terms of what elements like to pick. And you've also got like Invoker, just lots of damage that
10
isn't
seconds
really
remaining.
mitigated by the reactive armor.
Yeah. Well, good call. OD is going to be the fourth pick here for
Alliances
Elements
turn
to
to
help
bat.
them go toe-to-toe against the Timbersaw. So even if the supports are not going to be able to have too much of a say in the matter to try to shut down the Timbersaw, OD could help the case here. And feel confident picking it even into that recent Sven grab here from
seconds
Alliance.
Yeah, I'm always very careful about picking OD into Sven because
Dire team
there's so
battle.
much time when Sven has like his Blink, his Echo Saber, or whatever, that he can just delete OD from the map. And OD has a lot of time where he just needs to kind of farm up to get to like the Lincoln Spheres, to the Beekeeping, whatever, so that he can kind of survive that. And OD always has to
10
be careful
seconds
because
remaining.
there is a situation where Spirit Breaker charges him, and once Sven gets on top of OD, he's done.
5
Like,
seconds
he
remaining.
will not survive because the damage output is just so contrasted. Like, OD needs an extended fight where he can maybe like catch someone with an ulti or
Dire
something like that. He
team
catches
pick.
Sven with that BKB when someone's already gone on him. But if this fight starts with Sven and Spirit Breaker on top of this OD, then the fight won't last very long.
What about the farming for the Sven? From the previous patch, it was a lot of, you know, bulking around the ancient camps
10
and getting
seconds
Sven
remaining.
pretty mighty that way.
I haven't
With the
seen
new,
it yet. I'm
yeah,
kinda
with the new
interested.
additions on the map, there's a
5
new
seconds
ancient camp.
remaining.
There's shrines to kind of work around. I'm curious to see if this benefits Sven even further in being able to farm up in the
Reserve
game,
time.
or if it changes things a lot. One thing we are going to be seeing
Alliances
again, though, is
turn
what
to
looks like
pick.
the Swift ending Slark. It was pretty damn ridiculous in the last game. Caught Alliance off guard so much. I mean, it almost looked like Loda was AFK when Swift ending got the hands on him. And
Oh yeah, he did take a while to react to that. I think he got bashed the
10
first time he tried to
seconds
ulti,
remaining.
and then on the second time he was just like, I'm not gonna survive this, and he just didn't press the button.
5 seconds
So-
remaining.
yeah, but a
Alliance
continued
going
good
for
trend
the
and
last
someone.
pickup.
Yeah, it's a nice matchup against
Reserve
Sven though.
time.
So now we go for the final grab of Alliance and what we are possibly banking as. I mean, what do you think? Off lane, unless this Timbersaw is going to be their off lane.
I still thinking they're doing solo safe thing with Sven Jakiro top, but I think they're gonna get slaughtered by Slug Push to Ogre. So now maybe just a
10
really
seconds
high can't really
remaining.
predict. I think it's probably still gonna be Timber mid. So
5
yeah, something for
seconds
the off lane.
remaining.
Only 3 seconds left, so.
Better make it good. And it's
Oh,
a Bloodseeker, you know?
Okay,
Casual
Bloodseeker mid, Timbersaw off lane, maybe Sven top. Or Timbersaw safe lane, Sven top, I think. Just rely on the Bloodseeker kind of hammering the OD because I think Bloodseeker does really well versus him.
I know Bloodseeker's pretty nice to have when you're going against the Slark. Obviously, anything that can help maintain the vision on the Slark is something he's not happy about, especially when he's trying to benefit from that regen here. And certainly can disrupt the flow of some of these team fights when they need to get in closer with the likes of a Nyx and an Ogre, and even a Witch Doctor. It's going to be tough to get off all those big ultis and lockdown abilities when you have a Blood Suka, if you will, kind of in the mix, getting out that big silence here. As we do get underway.
That's a pretty blue Bloodseeker. I haven't seen that before. That Gizmo looks quite nice.
Let me see this one. Oh, whoa. Yeah. Can I go to showcase mode? Nope, showcase mode doesn't work. Oh well.
Oh well. We tried.
We're going to get underway. It's game number 2. Elements already up. 1 game here. Alliance are fighting for their Dota Pit life. They need a win here to stay alive. Winner of this series moves on into the finals, which will be played tomorrow in a best of 5 against OG. And of course, winner of that series qualifies for the Dota Pit LAN, which we'll be having in Croatia. I believe is going to be going down on the back end of January. So should be a good time. A couple days in Croatia, some Dota and some money to be made. That's the life, isn't it, Ryan?
30 seconds to battle.
It really is. Now, bounty rune distribution. I think that Element's going to do the safe thing. Just like, oh, Slark's a bit worried about his own bounty rune, so maybe they lose out on this. It's kind of hard to tell who's going to get what, but it's going to be Jonas who's going to be playing the Iron Talon Bloodseeker, so he's going to be hacking jungle creeps and maybe getting what he can top. Limp is going to be the mid timber, and we've got Hanskin, he's spirit breaking all over the place. EGM's going to be just supporting a load of bot. Then you got Swift Ending, he's Slarking top. Mitch is just running around, he's probably going to get what he can, but I think that lane shouldn't be too difficult. And Cole is going to be fighting the Limp Man and Gogi and LeBron. No smokes as of yet, so they're probably just going to be securing top lane. Pardon my ignorance, didn't Gogi used to be their core player? I want to say Gogi used to be their mid laner. Mid laner, right? Their mid player.
Interesting swap. Because Gogi used to be like, I want to say like pretty stylish too. But now just kind of playing the trusty Ogre here. Not a very stylish hero, but can get the job done. As he will cross pass here with Jonas and just kind of sap up XP.
I think you're underestimating the amount of style that can come out from playing Ogre. There's
yeah?
something beautiful in bloodlusting your teammates
just
and
over and
walking
over and
at
over
people
again.
and igniting and just the mind-numbing tediousness of bloodlusting and igniting and bloodlusting.
Yeah, it's like people who can appreciate like water torture, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a couple of them. Ooh, mid lane.
No, Limp is gone for the.
Why is he gold? Is he gold on your thing too? Is that a...
What, Cole?
Yeah, Cole.
That's the indicator for someone having their attributes reduced by 1 in death.
I normally see that, but I normally don't see it last that long. I guess it's just... Maybe I'm just blind in that case, but... Nonetheless, yeah, Limp is showing the mark as he's able to aggressively advance on forward, but now the Ogre's here. And with the early Ignite, he's going to try his best to bully back Limp where possible. So he's kind of juggling the duty of kind of keeping both Limp in check, along with the nearby Jonas Bloodseeker here. Totally sacking at least himself in that off lane. Leaves Hanskin to kind of get some solo XP, but he obviously does not want to be even shown in the lane. So Alliance just kind of getting what they can without having too many casualties here. It's hard to kind of gauge right now who that really benefits. It looks like once Elements recognize that this is the laning setup, LeBron might be moving around now. He just picked a Bedidi rune, and it looks like they're just going to go on a Hitman party, kind of how we saw with their CK group in the first series today. Now they're in the mid lane.
Kill this Timber. Oh, he's got DD on the wish. Oh,
Coconut?
No. No way. They needed it to bounce on him like twice there.
Yeah, very low odds
but
right there.
It is going to give OD some time to farm, and he gets to pressure. Actually, no, he's a bit worried about the Jakira, so... Well, Limp should be okay here. He hits the level 2 reactive armor, so then OD can't really zone him out. But Limp will have a decent time mid, I think.
That
at least
forces
up until
LeBron
OD hits like level 7 or something.
back up top, but yeah. Leaves Loda and Mitch to kind of own their vices here. What do you think about the Nyx versus Sven matchup? I mean, EGM's on his way now to maybe casually hit him with a dual breath, but... Alright, well, never mind about the one-on-one because the Lions have Hanskin here now, and they're going to make a committed charge. They're going to lead in early with the stun. The charge follow-up will be there, and then the dual breath. Now can they right-click him down? Pops off the Carapace to try to be able to make it back. Gets a beautiful 3-man stun connection. Ice Path. Nice little level up from EGM, but that's still not going to be good enough. Alliance, a hard commitment in the early game with the 3-man rotation. They blow every skill in the book, and they still can't take the solo Nyx down. EGM, though, persistent. Mitch is running for the Shrine. He uses it right in front of EGM, and then gets the stun off as Hanskin tries to charge on in. Alright then.
I suppose it is worth using that Shrine just to make sure you get this... Yeah, I would definitely use it for this double range creep wave on the siege creep. Like, just to guarantee that you get your level 4, and you know the supports won't challenge you very much. Like, this is pretty good stuff for him. I'm just worrying like about the mid lane. Like this OD, the game speeds up a lot. I think he's gonna have a hard time keeping up with like Spirit Breakers running everywhere because OD like does need time to get online, and Jonas has fallen out.
Yeah, Jonas, who had been away from that off lane, obviously gets Elements a bit interested, so they go on to a Hitman squad, and eventually the Gogi LeBron duo come across Jonas farming nearby, and they'll be able to get the finish off. So, first blood goes their way. For Alliance, though, you know, Lotus still kind of getting the best out of the farm in the bottom lane, but everywhere else it's not looking so great here. Slark, obviously, with a free lane to work with, puts him up at the top of the CS at 31 and 11. Timber, for now, matching up even against OD as they both have 19 and 4. So, kind of trading evenly for now, but these supports from Elements can continue to kind of hide in the dark and keep Alliance guessing while they continue to make stacks and make impressions elsewhere. Now Alliance looking to make another move for Mitch. This stun will connect. Carapace to bounce it back. Mitch trying to rush his way towards his Ogre ally. Hanskin connects with the charge, but it's still just costing him so much. Finally, Gogi will be there. Gets off the Ignite. He's looking to go right for Loda now. A trade for Mitch going down for Loda is already worth it as it is, and the chase is on. Loda's got to get all the way back. He's able to get off a salve, but it gets quickly canceled. Gogi is still on the chase here. Second Ignite. Is he going to have enough right click on the other side? They will also get Hanskin down. He gets jumped. Limp moves in to help out his buddy Loda, and now it's Gogi on the run. But still space created, if you will, even if it takes that whole time. He's able to eat a tree and begin to heal on up, but eventually the big guy will fall. Still a worthy trade, though, for Elements, as they've already taken their support and gotten back into the grind. You know, Alliance were chasing around quite a while. If you count the start when they were making the move for Mitch, you know, it was quite a bit of cat and mouse. But here we go, top lane. We don't stop there. Swift ending moves in, gets off the pounce, and will force Jonas to TP all the way back to base.
This is one of those games where I think Clark has a lot of work to do in terms of catching up. Like, he needs to maintain the same farm level as the Sven, really, and if he does that, I think it's a pretty easy game for him, but just needs to make sure he doesn't get caught by Rupture and things like that, and he needs to get a fairly quick Silver Edge to deal with the Timber. But I'm pretty sure that the main objective is going to be, like, Slark gets a few kills early on, then all of Alliance starts worrying about the Slark and make sure they don't get picked off, and in that time, OD starts farming, and then OD is going to be, like, the real one role eventually. Because that's just kind of how OD games end up working. So, and OD is actually just going to go for... He's looking at the first item, Atos, in this game.
And that's the new Atos. It's the new one. You gotta remember, it's I've used it personally. It's got that little fun little projectile and becomes a root. So I think overall it's a bit of a buff. But here bottom lane, they're making a move for Loda. It's a 3-on-1. Mitch getting a bit of a payback from all the aggression in the laning phase. Forces out the rotation from Limp, who already had that pocketed invis. Here, Hanskin joining by his side, charging on in, looking to make a move for Ogre. Now they settle back for Mitch. Mitch gets off the Carapace and a nice double stun. Still trying to run himself out in a way. The Voodoo Restoration from LeBron will assist, and the Coconut as a cherry on top to keep Alliance at bay. Rotations from both teams, but no blood will be shed.
So everyone's just kind of farming away, and by everyone I mean mostly Swift Ending. He's just got 53 CS and he's doing pretty well.
Tower is under attack.
Got a Keeler coming out to him on the courier after Cole is done with it. And Spirit Breaker is coming to pay him a visit.
I'm sure that visit will be quickly canceled, as Hanskin will just take the time to drop down the ward instead. But that is something that has got to be on the back of the mind of Alliance right now, is that, you know, these skirmishes that have been happening through the bottom lane, mid to bottom lane, didn't even really involve swift ending at all. So the Slark is just going to be a problem to cross their path soon enough.
Yeah, I'm just kind of worried that Alliance supports are going to have a hard time really being relevant. Like Spirit Breaker, he's got a bit to go until level 6. Might pick up a Bounty Rune here and there. He's probably going to pick one up right now. But this Nyx is going to get level 6 very, very soon. And then he's going to run around with the Ogre, and he's going to threaten kills possibly with a Slug. But it's not like in that game, so like way back when Nyx had like loads of stuff to follow up with. Like there's no relocates, there's no blink tinies. So I think as long as Alliance play reasonably safe and get Sven to a amount of farm, then they should be okay. But he's currently sitting very, very far behind the Slark, and if he doesn't catch up fairly soon, then he's going to have a pretty miserable game.
Alliance eyeballing another opportunity maybe to get a jump on for Mitch, as Hanskin is going to get rotated down here. They tried this once before, timing everything out. EGM looking to spot him, but that's when Mitch goes right into Vendetta. So they ping it out, knowing that he's nearby. They don't have vision, though. Oh, now they do. They drop it, and that's when they make the call. There's going to be the stun. There's going to be the Ice Path. Hanskin lining up the charge. This time they will be able to get the grab on Mitch. Rotations from Elements come just a bit too late, but Cole says they want to make the move regardless. Moves in with the Prison, but it looks like that may be the end of it. This time Elements rotating on over some reinforcements that unfortunately are not going to help them a lot, because the Alliance bring in more. Jonas is here now to play, along with Limp, and they will go to work on this tier 1, keeping the rest of Elements at bay. But that's fine, it's only 3 from their side. Still farming OD in that mid lane, and swift ending. Continuing to grind his way through on that Slark in the top lane. This will be the tier 1 takedown by Alliance, though.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has
Swift
fallen.
ending takes a tier 1 himself, so I don't know. I mean, it's nice to get Mitch finally down, but I'm sure Elements
really
are not too deterred. Yeah.
Like Swift, like basically Cole just like walked down there, Asteroid one person, force 5 people down there. They lose the tower, but I think they're going to lose that anyway. And then they guarantee that Slark's just kind of alone there. He gets the tower, he gets 2 waves to himself, and then he gets to farm his jungle. So got a pretty clear path to Shadowblade now. And then once he gets that, people need to start being careful. The Sven is quite vulnerable to that. The support's fairly tanky, both of them. EGM kind of has an item now.
He has a Midas.
Yeah.
This is the item that most people felt was going to be like MVP item with this new patch and with talents being introduced. EGM just goes straight for the hand of gold.
He doesn't mess about. He just... Oh, Cole is going to get ruptured in the mid lane.
Yes, he is. Might have to prison himself. He goes for it. Help is so far away. Finally a rotation in from Gogi, but a bit too late. They were hoping to assist the OD on that one. Good opportunity for Alliance to strike, and Jonas sets that one up for his team and heads right back to the grindstone here.
I just feel quite sorry for him. Like, Rupture just lasts a really long time, and it hurts.
So jump onto Limp here in the mid lane. Swift ending already.
Radiant's bottom
Getting into
tower
work.
is
That
under
wasn't even the
attack.
debut of the Shadowblade. And he was able to get that snipe. Shadowblade now in his hand, while Loda nearby is able to quickly use that God Strength to muscle through a double stack of Ancients. Mid lane, though, seems to be Elements' tower. That's 2 towers already for
Radiant's
Swift
middle
ending.
tower has fallen.
Alright, so they ping out the stack there. There's a 3 stack on the other Ancients, so... It's... Okay. Mitch is just going to kind of run around here. He's debating running at EGM. He has ulti up in 3 seconds, but I don't think EGM's going to hang around long enough. He's going to go for it, but EGM should TP straight away.
Yes,
We'll
he
be
does.
fine. Oh, the Carapace.
My! He carapaces over the Macro Pyre, and that stuns EGM going for the TP. Whether Mitch knows it or not, EGM walks out sad as ever. Double sad face for that dragon. Meanwhile, up and above, Gogi will be a trade of a support as he gets jumped from Alliance, so it is going to be a trade apiece.
So, the main problem here is, like, Sven, he doesn't match up very well versus the Slark. He does okay versus the OD, but neither the OD nor the Slark do very well against Bloodseeker. Rupture is very, very good against both of them, and the Silence is very, very good against OD. So it's just a question of, can this Bloodseeker be effective in this game? And if he is, then Alliance have a very, very good shot of taking this game into the mid game and possibly late game. So, Yogi and LeBron, and they're debating using it. Ben is taking his Ancients now with
the
his armor.
second Ancient stack. I mean, that's something we wouldn't have seen in good old classic Dota 2. Don't mind that. At the same time, farming up his Swift Ending. Asking for Jonas to be able to be a factor. He gets quickly shut down in the top lane while a fight breaks out down here. Hanskin popping out the dust, looking to make his move here as Mitch goes into Vendetta, but suddenly a wild Witch Doctor ult appears and forces Loda all the way back. The chase is on now. Alliance converge in. Mitch pops out his wand, turns back, gets off a good stun here, and that allows some right-click damage to come forward, and that will be the demise of Limp. Now they're looking to go for Hanskin, hiding within the trees, but eventually going to get right-clicked apart. Double kill for Cole now. And this will lead to what looks like Elements reaching and taking down this tier 1. The rest of Alliance are on full retreat now, heading all the way back out into the other side.
Ben's kind of pinging this tower, saying they might try and defend this, but they might just have to give it up.
Structures are fortified.
Clark grows stronger, he gets closer and closer to his Echo Saber. And EGM, he's just kind of farming away. He's really taken this, like, support, like, transitioning into a core thing rather seriously. But bot tower now is complete. Atos goes to the OD.
Radiant's bottom tower
Elements are reaching one of their stronger points now.
Dire's middle tower
They were charging like they
attack.
were hoping to get the jump onto Swift Ending here, but without Disruptor in this game with the glimpse back, it's not going to be as easy, but they still continue to go for it. Jerry shows himself
Dire's
in
middle
the lane
tower
nearby,
is under attack.
flops down the ice path, but no chase will continue. Elements are now starting to show up in full force. Alliance are looking to go for a tier 1, but a fight will be here before them. Ooh, Cole just TP's in right in front of them. But they do not make the jump. They drop down the ward. They see Mitch. Mitch is right in front of them, and they decide to make their move, trying to get out Jonas right away. The silence is going to go off, but they've already managed to burst him down. Now Limp looking to go in the mix, but he's going to get hit. There goes the hammer, going to get dropped, and it will help execute him. Now Cole right-clicking down Loda. Loda forced to hide within the trees. He's trying to armlet toggle out. Nice save by EGM with the ice path. Will it be enough for Loda to make it out here? He's one of 2 last survivors. He is hiding within the trees. The man is on the run, avoiding the pounce, but LeBron's waiting there with a coconut, and he is gone. Cole on the killing spree, and it is going to be Elements up 11-5 as Alliance just trying to move on forward, trying to take a tier 1. I don't know, I guess not banking that Elements were going to be there at fight-ready form.
Yeah, that's like, you have things like Jonas, he picks up his Blade Mail right before that fight. He's like, I've had enough of dying to Slark now. I'm going to just man fight him, pop my Blade Mail, I'm going to be fine. Slark just goes, alright. He just kills him anyway. Doesn't really care. And then Slark just able to regen in the trees by himself a bit. And just the OD and the Witch Doctor just proving a massive problem there. Like the Sven wasn't able to really get anything done in that fight. It's very hard for Alliance to really output their damage. Without getting that initial rupture and silence on someone, it's very easy for OD to save them with Astral. That's very single target on the side of Alliance. It's just quite difficult.
I mean,
they're only going to get more difficult now, I think.
There's only been like those opportunities at bottom lane where Elements have even shown where Alliance could just converge onto that one single target, and that was Mitch. And even then, it was never really easy. It felt like half the time Mitch was able to make it away without any sort of assistance, and any other time Elements would quickly get there, and if it wasn't to save Mitch, it would be having a counterfight where they would pretty much get the better trade. So
I just think that provided the Sven doesn't get too big, like this OD is going to be a massive problem. Like the Timbersaw isn't safe, the Bloodseeker is going to have a hard time focusing people. He's just kind of winning them the game right now.
Show me that
just
new.
By being an OD.
I want to see this new Rod of Atos now. Can you root someone up here? Root Hanskin right there. Oh, okay. Well, Elements rummaging on through. Bottom lane, Jonas is going to get jumped.
Oh dear. Like, it just... Blade Mails, and it's just... Clark's just sitting on just a bit below full HP now.
Yeah, I don't think the Blade Mail is going to be enough to stop Swift Ending in this one. He is already reaping in all the benefits from that clear top lane. And now can pretty much 1v1 anyone on the team of Alliance. And here Elements...
Swift Ending may have the most slot games out of anybody I know. He's the prolific slot player.
Really?
He did this whole thing where, like, you know, people are going, oh, like, I'm 3k, but I feel like I'm 5k, whatever. He went, okay, what I'm going to do to prove that you can always get out of the MMR is he got an account that was 3k, and he went up to 5k. just by playing Slark and some other heroes, but mostly Slark. And he had a ridiculous win rate, and he did this like 2-3 years ago now, but he's been playing Slark for a very, very long time. And it's just his thing.
I would love
And
to
the
see
Lions
a
seem to be happy to let him do that.
Swift ending Slark versus like Madara Slark. He's like the other big Slark player that comes to mind, but Swift
I'd say
ending.
Swift ending is more the guy to go to.
He's making a case. It's a ridiculous showing already. They move in, and they're looking to kind of hold their advantage as they go for the Roche. No approach here from Alliance, whether they know it or not. They obviously are not going to be in any sort of contending form to fight it.
One thing that makes OD slightly weaker is you notice the Arcane Orb doesn't work on Roche anymore. That is a pretty big thing. OD used to be one of the better Roche heroes, because he just destroyed it with the pure damage, going straight through the armor, but now that's not so much a thing, but they've got enough heroes hitting it that that won't quite matter. Loda going to pop Mask of Madness. He's getting stalked by Mitch a bit. Mitch, who now has his Blink Dagger.
Uh-oh, what's happening over here? Mitch,
Jonas.
stalked, swing and a miss on the stun for Jonas, but EGM will pay the price instead. And Elements could just kind of segue all the way down here to the bottom lane. Still 2 more towers do stand for Alliance before they're at risk of losing those precious shrines.
Dire's top tower is under
And they're in
attack.
full split mode right now as Limp is just doing what he can here in the top lane. Still trying to even scrap together the likes of a Bloodstone. Oh god. Oh god, the coconut! The coconut when I'm trying to Timber Chain away! Are you serious, bro? That is
That's
just
unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. Handskin, the unfortunate. Events
stop.
continue here. Just doesn't
Elements
stop.
just look really, really strong. Like, the drafts seem very, very good. They know what they want to do. They're very good in their early roaming. Their cores just seem competent. They're not making any mistakes outright. And yeah, I think Alliance, they're just trying out a lot of new stuff. They got Bloodseeker Jakiro going on, but it just feels like
Radiant's
after the
middle
initial
tower
laning,
is under
I
attack.
think the Timber had hard enough time that he's having a really hard time doing anything right now. There's enough non-physical damage that he can't really go in without dying almost instantly. And even the Slark, he does enough physical at this point with his Silver Edge that Timber can't really go in at all. And the Slark having such a huge lead over the Sven means that the Sven, unless he gets like the perfect initiation, which he doesn't have a dagger, so that's hard to find, I don't see them killing the Slark. Unless he gets isolated and ruptured. In which case, I can see him dying very quickly, but that scenario seems unlikely.
But Alliance say, we gotta do something, Rhyme. They smoke up, and as they try to run out the front door, they realize their smoke's already done. What happened?
Mitch decides that smoking is not allowed.
Mitch is like, nah, I'm good.
Oh no.
Cancels
Not
it all
like
out. EGM just 4 feet in front of the door. And the rest of Alliance have to watch their Jerry brother go down, and it's not a pretty sight. And now they have a numbers advantage. And Elements are looking to tighten the noose around Alliance here and just kick them out of Dota Pit and move on to face OG in the finals. As they are getting closer to that 16-5 at 20 minutes in. A net worth advantage of about, well, 10k. XP getting closer to the same. It is Alliance who need to dig deep right here and now to find an answer.
Artemis 700 gold off a Bloodstone, so he's going to have that in the next minute or two. And Sven, he's working towards a BKB. He'll probably have that. If they take a fight, then he'll have that fairly soon. Or if they win a fight, that is. But he doesn't really have that much farm that he has access to right now. And the Bloodseeker is also going for a BKB, but he's in a similar state where he's got a lot of farm left to go. So right now, I think Alliance just need to get their items, avoid fights, and oh no, Jonas alone.
He tried to run out there, but quickly might be paying the
They
price.
might turn this around.
Macropyre and a dual breath here. Mitch in a bit of trouble. LeBron getting burnt up a bit, but it seems like they might be able to shrug it off. And now the big boys have come to play here, Rhyme. They're running on in, and they're quickly just wiping them out from the game. 3 gone. No buybacks for any of them. Only Limp and only Loda survive.
Dire's bottom tower
But
is
Limp does have
under
a
attack.
Bloodstone. He has that. 12 charges.
I mean, if he
Fresh.
dies, he will come back a bit faster. I like that.
Or if he kills everyone, he gets more charges.
Dire's bottom
is true.
tower
He's going to kill everyone,
is
right?
under attack.
Surely,
Oh, no.
if they
Mitch is
want
just
to win,
standing
he's got
guard now. Mitch is just standing with Carapace. If you want to stop this push, then you have to go through me.
Yep.
Polwoods is
2-3.
standing here, so if you get stunned, I am going to kill you.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Well,
It's
tier 3
looking
goes down.
pretty
This
rough
is-
for Alliance.
Yeah, I mean, this is not going to get any easier. This is so much money rolling in, and then when they're done with this and they want to roll out, they can just go get the shrines too, and that's an extra 300 gold for them to go for. Oh, Swift Ending. Able to avoid the trouble of the stun. There goes the Sanity's Eclipse, and it quickly takes out that Bloodseeker, man. He is good and gone. Hanskin also going to be set to go down. Limp in trouble. Forced to Timber Chain. Backing away. Caught into the mix is Loda. He's trying to man up, but he's got Swift Ending on his backside, and he takes them apart. That is game. Elements Pro Gaming take this series 2-0 and will advance into the finals of this European qualifier to face up against OG. That match happens tomorrow, a best of 5. But congratulations to Elements, man. They came to play today. They won both of our series. Alliance don't even know what hit them.
Yeah, taking 2-0s in both series. I think this series they look much stronger than they did in the last one. Maybe just the practice kind of.
Yeah.
They really seem to just draft very, very strongly. They did very well on the lanes. Their early rotations are very good. Swift Ending he's pretty good at the slot hero. Mitch, I think he's actually like one of the most important things because like he's been very, very effective. He's made a lot of space. Early on, Alliance spent a lot of effort trying to kill him in the laning stage, and that didn't ever really work out for them. Yeah, it just generally Alliance's support rotations got paralyzed by Mitch, and then LeBron and Gogi got to do whatever they wanted.
So if you're watching this series and you're OG, which they likely could be because they will have to face Elements tomorrow and get the win if they want to be heading out to the Croatia land, what if you had to take a couple of big notes away from Elements and how they play and what they prepare for, what would your notes say for tomorrow's matchup?
I think just try and make sure that they don't get good roaming supports, and just try and make sure that they can't rotate very easily. Pick stronger lanes, but also try and get your core matchups that they're better, because Elements just seem to... They get the Slark, they get the OD, and then as the game gets later and later and later, it gets easier and easier. And Alliance just constantly felt like they had to get a lot done in the early game, which they weren't able to do. And I think if they had heroes that matched up better against the Slark and the OD, or in the previous game it was the Slark and I can't remember what hero it was for that, but just making sure that you're not all in the game. And also ban Slark, that would be a good idea.
Sounds good to me. We'll see if OG kind of take note themselves. We'll see what kind of game they bring. They looked also very good in this Dota Pit 7.0 run so far, but tomorrow we'll find out which will be the team to head off to the Dota Pit land. That wraps things up for today's Dota action. I'm Coddle Guy. That's Rhyme Dota. Rhyme, thank you so much for joining me today. And we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, for your best of 5 Dota Pit European Qualifier Final as we witness Elements Pro Gaming